Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a good show lined up today. We got Buddy Martin, of course, here on a Tuesday morning. The second portion of the show, we're going to be joined by Julie Donaldson, former Gator grad. She's kind of bounced around, but she's now the first female to ever be in a broadcast booth of an NFL franchise. Works for the Washington football team. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about her career, what's going on up in Washington, and other things as well. But first, let's get to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by good old Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. Good morning, Buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. Talking about women in those trailblazers, Laura Rutledge is the first woman I know, graduate of Florida, to host NFL Live, which she does every week. So they've got some
she is the busiest female
superstar
in all of broadcasting.
She is.
Between her college football stuff she does, as you mentioned, the NFL Live, she's outstanding, does a tremendous job, no question about it.
Yeah, she was just great when she was here working for us. And then we sent her on her way and managed not to screw it up, and so she overcame her teaching and has done quite well. Proud of her.
Yep. Buddy, did you get to watch any of the games last night?
Well, of course I did, because I knew you would beat me up if I didn't. I stayed up to the very end, until the last 5 minutes of the game, and saw it. And I tell you, that's a pace. That's a warp speed, that basketball being played. It's so fast. I couldn't believe that game last night. High intensity, as they said.
Yeah, wasn't a whole lot of high intensity in the first game against Houston, Oregon State. Oregon State was down 17 or 18, made a little comeback. But yeah, I didn't get to see this. I couldn't stay awake for the second half of the Baylor game. But Arkansas got down by 18, made a run there right before half, got it close. I don't know how close they got in the second half.
4 points, I believe.
With how much time left?
5 minutes to go. You mean you didn't watch it, and I watched it because you would make me get mad at
buddy, I had gotten up at 5 o'clock on Monday morning. I had to be
I'd have gone to bed too if I had known that.
Yeah, well, I needed somebody to talk about the game, but Baylor's an outstanding team. Arkansas had a tremendous year as well. And here are the stats I wanted. I did a little research for old Buddy Martin today, because last night on your show, we talked about how people are just crucifying Mike White. What's going on with the program? People are leaving it. Who cares if they leave? Here's why I say that. Okay, the Baylor Bears last night, they played 8 players in their rotation. 3 of them, which are all starters, played elsewhere before they were Baylor Bears. Tacha Chua, I can't pronounce his name. He was a UNLV running rebel. Maceo T played at UNC Asheville, and Davion Mitchell was an Auburn Tiger at one time.
Davion Mitchell's a beast. Whoa.
He is a beast. Okay, so, but the Houston Cougars, buddy, listen to this. They're going to the Final Four, all right? They, out of their rotation, they played 8 players in that game last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those are transfers. Dejan Giroux, UMass. Justin Gorman from Towson State. Can't read my writing here. Cameron Tyson, maybe from Idaho. Quentin Grimes from Kansas. Reggie Chaney from Arkansas. And Bryson Gresham from UMass. So 6 of their 8 players that played in that game played elsewhere last year, except Giroux. He transferred 2 years ago. And then the Arkansas Razorbacks played 7 players, and 3 of their guys played elsewhere last year. So, look, that's the game now. That is what college basketball is all about. It's not about building a program. Those days are over, folks. There's nobody that's going to come in as a freshman and stay for 3 or 4 years. It ain't happening.
Well, good on you, Shane, for doing. I've made you a reporter at All Glass. You can work for me at the newspaper because you got your facts. That's impressive. You're absolutely right. basketball game has become more itinerant than ever. And that's why, as you point out, and I pointed out in my column last week, Mike White can fix this in a hurry.
Oh,
they're out.
Yeah. Real hurry.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to have to happen. And it's just the idea there's something about recruiting that people go nuts about. It's almost like horse trading. Got to get over. We got to get this 5-star. Got to get that guy. It's nice, but who would you rather have? A guy who's played 2 years and at the high level, or some kid who was an AAU star?
Yeah, in basketball, recruiting is totally different than football because when you decide to go to college in football, you cannot leave until after you've been at that school for 3 years.
Right.
So you got to build your program and just fill in with the transfer. In basketball, you're one and done. So I wouldn't give a damn about high school recruits right now unless you could find 1 or 2 studs to come in, but you're only going to have them for a year if they're that good. So I would work the transfer portal, and that's what you're going to see teams do from here on out, in my opinion.
The one and done thing is over too. Apparently, Cal hadn't been very successful with that, so maybe it's time to do it differently, as you point out. I'm with you. I think they can. That's what we'll be seeing.
Yep. So Baylor and Houston move on to the Final Four, and tonight Gonzaga is playing. Who is Gonzaga playing? I can't even remember. Gonzaga's playing USC. Another team that has a entire starting 5 that they did not have last year, and then UCLA, Michigan. I'm going to think Gonzaga wins. They're 28-0, buddy, and they've won every game by double digits except one game. I think they beat West Virginia by 9 or something like that early in the year. They're clearly the best team. I think we're going to end up seeing Gonzaga and Baylor play one another.
I tell you, if we do, I'm going to tape it and then play it slow motion. Because this is as fast as college basketball I have ever seen. I mean, they go. The last night's game, although Arkansas got beat, they competed, and it was every time down, run, shoot, run, move. Unbelievable passes, and the way they moved went to the back. I mean, it was a remarkable basketball. Even my wife, who's not a college basketball player, wow. It's really something to watch, and the level, this is not a level where Florida could play at right now.
No,
this is a whole other kind of basketball.
Yeah, it's a different level of athletes. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. One and done is going away too, with lower age and paying players in the G League. Yeah, and there's some new other high school league they're talking about starting, where high school kids can go and get paid quite a bit of money to play in. So, it's totally changing. Buddy, I was flipping through the channels, and I'm not I don't watch I'll watch the women's Final Four, but you had UConn playing Baylor last night, and there was a controversial call at the end of that game. Did you see it?
I didn't see or heard about it. We could have had 2 Baylors in the Final Four except for that. I don't know. I know LeBron James got mad enough to tweet about it. So it was a foul.
It was terrible. It was a terrible call. Terrible.
Yeah, it's and we haven't had a whole lot of really terrible calls so far. I'll say that the officiating for the most part. I noticed one thing, Shane. Players are taught not to argue calls. They just they go right. Everybody goes right to the huddle after a call. Whether the 4 kids, and it's a method to keep somebody from going off on an official. And for the most, got to get to this text here. So anyway, I mean, the level of basketball is good. The officiating's been good. And I said to you a long time ago, like, what was it, 3 weeks ago? I can't get up for this March Madness. It just hasn't gotten me. But the level of basketball that's being played now, I mean, it's been amazing. You could be right about Gonzaga, but by the way, let me teach you a history lesson. 40 years ago, there was a team they called Phi Sigma Gamma. You say Gonzaga is the best team you ever saw in your life. Yep. Phi Sigma Gamma, a team that I covered in Albuquerque, was the best basketball team I ever saw. What happened to Elijah Wan and Clyde Drexler and that bunch? They ran into a little scraggly team from North Carolina called NC State and Jim Balbano, and they lost that game.
Yeah, well, yeah, they did. They were upset on, but I know Five Slam and Jam was damn good. I'm still taking this Gonzaga team over them regardless. I know Akeem and Clyde Drexler, they had some other NBA guys, but I just don't know if I've ever seen a more potent, complete team as the Gonzaga Bulldogs is this year. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. March is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. We're speaking with Buddy Martin on the Titan MR Hotline from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be joined by Julie Donaldson of the Washington football team here shortly, Gator grad. Talk a little bit about her career and what's going on with. I'm going to ask her what the hell their name's going to be.
Well, they don't know. What would you like it to be?
Well, I think they need to be the Redskins, quite honestly. But
no, Shane, that ain't happening. You know better than that.
Yeah.
You sound like an old man. You sound like me.
Well, anyway, okay. So, buddy, let's first of all, are you still getting a lot of people on your show all over Mike White?
Yeah, there's about 3.
Just 3?
Well, yeah, for the most part, we got guys like Dan who listen to your show, very level-headed, and they got. But there's people who are upset and angry, and by the way, Mike White's not scot-free. I mean, Mike White's got to change some way he's doing some things, make some adjustments. We know now the level of basketball that we have to see for this team to be in the Sweet 16 or whatever. They should have been in the Sweet 16. And it makes you wonder about this. I mean, before you point out your data on Mike White, again, good research by Shane. He's becoming a reporter. You look at Andrew Nembhard. Now, let's be honest. Look at the Gator and look at what he is as what is Gonzaga? I've forgotten. Whatever the nickname is, I forget.
They're either the Zags or the Bulldogs, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, all right. I keep getting confused. Let's call them the Zags. All right, so you got a player. You can say, here's Exhibit A, and here's Exhibit B. Now, granted, they're different systems. I get that. Andrew Nembhard is a totally different basketball player. He used to drive me nuts the way he dribbled the ball, didn't make smart passes, could shoot it and take it to the hole occasionally. Okay, on defense. This guy sprints down the floor, gets down there, handles the ball, passes the ball crisply, shoots the ball well. He looks like a different player. Is that because he's got a different surrounding cast? Maybe. But I just know that in the Mike White system, Andrew Nembhard, to me, was not an asset always.
Well, here's what I like to say about that, buddy. Quarterbacks are usually only as good as players around them.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzaga has 3 All-Americans,
mm-hmm.
Okay? They got Timmy, the big man.
Mm-hmm.
They got Jalen Suggs, who could be the first pick in the draft, the point guard. And then they got Kispert, the wingman. All right? You throw in all those other IE, these guys are outstanding players. And I said last night on your show, in my opinion, Florida basketball overachieved this year because I personally only think we have one SEC starter in the starting lineup. And that was Trey Mann. I felt like everybody else, I think Kapslin's a good, solid player. I think Noah Locke brings a little bit to the table. He's basically just a shooter. I think everybody other than Trey Mann are guys that should be coming off your bench. I don't think they should be starters. So that's why I think we overachieved. And then if you want to compare with Gonzaga, I mean, Gonzaga's got a bunch of dudes that are going to be making a lot of money playing basketball the rest of their lives. So, but no, Nembhard is a very good player. I've heard through the grapevine there were a lot of issues with him. I don't know what they are, but from what I've been told, it was best for him to move on, and it was better for the team. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, it was a win-win, I think, for that standpoint. Trey Mann became a much better player without Nembhard.
Yeah, and then John says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Oklahoma State coach just got a 7-year contract extension for his second-round exit. And he had maybe the best player in America, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
So, and Dan says you need 2 NBA dudes on the team to make the Final Four. You probably do. Now, maybe not every year, but if you look at Baylor, they got some NBA dudes. Gonzaga's got a ton of them. Michigan's maybe got a few. They just play great team ball. So, anyway, that's just
I can't disagree with that. I agree with what you said. And I agree with what Dan said. And I agreed about that way to build the roster is through the portal. That's going to happen. I want to make one point, if I may, though, and maybe you got it on your calendar. Not so fast, Alabama. You're not going to become the second team to be reigning champions in football and basketball. And by the way, that just shows you how hard it is to do. Really hard to do. And kudos to Alabama.
The Alabama game was outstanding. I couldn't believe how poor they shot from the free throw line, buddy. 44%. It cost them the game. Yeah. You just knew after they knocked down that three at the buzzer that they were going to find a way to win. Herb Jones missed those free throws, so they had a tremendous year. I think that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. And here's the thing that I think people forget about. Every player can come back this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So I forgot about Alabama. I know John Petty's a senior. I think Shackelford's a senior.
It's Jones.
Herb Jones. I know the NBA likes him a lot because of his defensive skills. They could all come back if they wanted, though. So, we'll see. I wanted to, before we let you go, buddy, here, we got a few more minutes with you.
Yeah.
Howard Schnellenberger passed away.
Yeah.
And I heard he's not in the Hall of Fame. Why is that?
That's a good question. I think it's based on wins. There may have been a stretch where his wins were not as good as it should have been, but that's what's wrong with the system. If Howard Schnellenberger can't get in the Hall of Fame for what he did at Miami alone, Shane, that program was gone. It was dead. It was going away. They were going to close it up. And Schnellenberger came over from the Dolphins. He wasn't like he didn't have a job. Took that program, got Jim Kelly, turned around, won a national championship. In Miami football is alive today because of Howard Schnellenberger. Not to mention he won a few other games other places, including Louisville. But, everybody you talk to is a football guy. And I know a bunch of them. I heard some Feinbaum show yesterday. The whole first 2 hours were people calling in to just talk about Howard Schnellenberger and what a great coach and what a great person he was. I didn't know him personally. I guess he was. But this guy has done enough to merit the Hall of Fame. And now it's too bad he has to die. How old was he? 80-something, 85 or 6. Time before people say, hey, put him in the Hall. I don't know. I guess if you join just by wins, I guess that's the reason. Yeah,
and refresh my memory. I mean, I'm familiar with Howard Schnellenberger, and I know how he kind of, like you said, that's what he did at the University of Miami. Mm-hmm. Why did he ever leave Miami? Did they fire him? Did they run him out of town? What happened?
He took another job, and he should never have left. I'm trying to think of where he went from there. I have to look it up, but I know that he was Don Shula's offensive coordinator type guy. He played for Bear Bryant, Kentucky, and he coached, I believe, with Bryant for a while. And he had a bunch of different jobs. Matter of fact, Charlie Pell is a quick story. Charlie Pell was going back into coaching and had the job in his back pocket at Louisville after all the problems he had at Florida. In fact, Charlie, just a personal note, said to me, buddy, I want you to go with me. And I said, well, Charlie, I got things in Colorado I got to do. Yeah, but we could do all these things. I got a spot for him. He thought he had the job there. And next thing you know, Schnellenberger became the coach at Louisville and we had him. But I don't have his resume in front of me. Ask any football person about Howard Schnellenberger, and they'll tell you he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
We got a couple of people here and tell me if this is correct, but if it refreshes your memory, they said he left Miami for the USFL.
That's true. It wasn't the Houston Gamblers, was it? I don't believe Jim Kelly's team. I don't think. I have to.
No. I want to say. No, it wasn't the Houston Gamblers.
Coach Spurrier, no.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know because he coached in that league against him. So don't forget, folks, go to potupwithshane.com and put your name in the hat for the hopper for a Chomp Harder hat. We'll be drawing for that tomorrow.
Am I eligible for that?
Yeah. All you got to do is go to the website, buddy, put in your information. And we'll see if Buddy Martin can win.
You never give me a chance at anything.
Well, I'm not the one that pulls.
Don't pass.
The production staff are the ones that do all the. They pull the names out of the hat. I have nothing to do with that. So
all right, real quick. Howard Schnellenberger went to Louisville, and
after Miami.
Here's his resume. He went from the Dolphins to Miami to Louisville, then to Oklahoma, then Florida Atlantic.
So he didn't coach in the USFL?
Well, it didn't show it here. I think it might just show college. It may show. I think he did. I have to look that up. But in this resume I've got, it doesn't show him coaching in the USFL. We'll research it for next time.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Buddy, Gator baseball gets swept. You concerned about Gator baseball?
See, you're not. And yeah,
No.
I understand what you're saying, but you can't be real happy when you're getting clobbered. You're just getting serious swept from you. Your play has not been good defensively. Your starting pitching is starting to break down. I don't know. I'd be a little concerned. You just can't turn it off and turn it on. You keep saying, well, they'll get in the tournament and whatever. Well, they may, but let's just say it doesn't look good. This is the number one. Hey, they're the number one ranked team in the country. Well,
okay, here's the thing. Let's just say they were undefeated right now. I don't know. What is our record? I'm sure Dan Bond can let us know. I know they've lost. I know they've lost 3 games in the SEC. They're 3-3. A lot of ball still to be played. It doesn't matter if they go into the NCAA tournament as the number 1 overall seed at 52-3, or if they go in there at 32-13. It ain't going to matter. All it's going to matter is once you get in. What does matter is being one of the top 8 seeds. So you host every weekend to get to Omaha. They will be fine, in my opinion. So the Rebels, as John said, are one of the hottest teams in America coming in, and they're a very good baseball team. So we'll see what Florida's made out of coming off that sweep this week. But, buddy, you can't throw in the towel yet. It's early. They've only played 6 SEC games.
Shane, you didn't ask me that. You asked if I was concerned. And I said, yes, I am. I'm not throwing the towel in. I'm just saying they should do better than that. I mean, Sully's a great baseball coach, got a beautiful facility, got good players, going to get drafted, Judd Fabian, et cetera, but they haven't gotten it done. Let's be honest.
Your best player can't go 0 for 13 either.
No, that's true.
So, I mean, it's baseball, though. Baseball is a game of failure, you know?
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Howard Snellenberg was 58-74 at Florida Atlantic. He was just barely above 500 in career, so that might be the reason.
Yeah, but I mean, who expected him to win? He started that.
Florida Atlantic, yeah, no doubt about it. It cost you though. So,
all right, buddy, we're a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
From the Masters.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am excited. And you know who I like.
Okay, I just got a text here on the Titan More text line from Phil.
Yeah.
Phil says Snellenberger was part owner, president, and GM of the Spirit of Miami in the USFL.
What?
Yeah, we got a lot of.
There was no Spirit of Miami. There was no Spirit of Miami in the USFL.
Yeah,
never heard of that. Ain't right.
Yeah, Lauren says he got hired in the USFL, then the team folded. So maybe that's the team.
Probably more. That might be the team that folded because they never played in the USFL. I covered the USFL, the Denver Gold, by the way, and they were not in the USFL. So, just so you know.
Yeah. All right. So the Masters.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing like the Masters. Hopefully, the weather cooperates. I know who Buddy Martin's going to pick.
Of course.
DeChambeau, right?
DeChambeau's my guy. Yeah. How did we do last time, by the way? How did I do? I think I beat you.
Which event?
Our picks 2 weeks ago.
I forgot what tournament.
Oh, you always forget when I beat you. Yeah.
It was the players.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Who did you have? I can't even remember who I had.
I got it written down. I'll find it, but I beat you.
I don't think either one of us had Justin Thomas.
No, we didn't. We didn't. By the way, he came out of nowhere. He's amazing. Well, that's too early to do it now, but I'm putting DeChambeau in there. He wants this, and I love how he's playing. So the match, I'll watch it all. I'll be glued to my TV from Thursday right through the deal, man.
He didn't play great in the match play, but Billy Horschel. We got to give a shout out to Billy Horschel.
Yeah, Billy Horschel deserves a kudo for that. He was a tough little booger. He hung right in there. You know what his payday was?
Bill, $1.8 million.
$1.8 million. Shane, I know I'm old. I remember when Arnold Palmer made his first $1 million for his career. That was a big deal.
Well, think about Billy. I guess about 8 or 9 years ago, he won the FedEx Cup.
Right.
And he got a check for $10 million.
Yeah. Maybe he was retired since then, but I know that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a nice win for Billy. Good enough to see that. That match play I've lost some interest in that, but he revived it. So I watched it.
Yeah, it's a different way of golf because you don't really get to see the PGA Tour play match play unless it's part of the Ryder Cup or this format. I really liked it because when you think about it, the average players, that's what we do when we go out and play with our buddies. You're playing match play. You play by the hole. Not many. When you go tee it up with most of your buddies, you're not playing stroke play because you hit a couple balls out of bounds, you're done on your stroke play. So you play match play. So I think the average golfer enjoyed watching match play. And Billy hit one of the worst shots I've ever seen any human being hit, buddy. I don't know if you saw it. On hole 6 on Sunday, a wind was howling there in Austin, Texas. But he hit a ball. It was a low duck hook that never got off the ground and went about 30 yards.
Yeah.
We talked about at TPC, the ball that
the DeChambeau
topped. Yeah. This was 1,000 times.
Was it worse than that? I didn't see it. DeChambeau couldn't be. DeChambeau was awful. He looked like me hitting it off the tee.
No, this was so bad, and it was Billy's reaction was outstanding. But I enjoyed it because you got to hear a lot of the conversation between Horschel and his caddy. But man, he's a grinder.
He is. He was Gator tough that day.
So you're taking DeChambeau.
I'm not giving. No, we'll do that Monday. I'm not giving you my picks. DeChambeau may sprain his ankle. I'm not going to give it to you now. I'm going to put him in somewhere on my board. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I'm going to put Tommy Fleetwood in there again or not.
Yeah. Joe says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, are they doing the par 3 tournament on Wednesday this year?
I would think they will. Of course. Yeah,
I can't remember if they did it last year or not. Are they having spectators this year, buddy?
I'm pretty sure they are having some. I don't know how many. Georgia's pretty open right now, so I'm sure there won't be a full house. But it's and to have it back in the April where it belongs is going to be really good. Flowers should be beautiful. I can't wait for it. It's going to be fantastic, and I love me some Masters. Probably my favorite all-time event. I've covered about 32 of them over the years. I've really loved every minute of it, and I'll be watching that. Golf's got some young stars. Let's see them blossom. This is a good time to do it.
Yeah, there's no question. Before we let you go, buddy, who you got on the show tonight?
Well, it's not. It's double coverage tonight. It's going to be. I'm going to have you leading off in our segment, and then we've got hopefully Jackie Fran, Julie. Thoughts and prayers for her family, and of course Cassie Hill's our little superstar. She'll be on double coverage talking some football and basketball tonight, regular time. Don't miss it. It's becoming a hot show.
So, buddy, I know you're down on the baseball team, but give them time. But I need you to get excited because softball is doing what softball does.
I could do that.
What do they say? There's a few things that are guaranteed in life. It's what death, taxes, and Tim Walton taking his girls to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, well, you guaranteed that already. Yeah. You guaranteed that, and I think you said you're going to pay my way out there, didn't you?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know. You've probably covered a lot of sporting events. You've probably never been to the Women's College World Series there in Oklahoma City. Not.
That's one
You've got to go, buddy, because I've been twice.
Yeah.
And if you like softball, which it's fast paced, and these are the best teams in the world, in the country. Right. It is a great event that they do out there, and it goes pretty quick. Yeah, it goes pretty quick.
It does. That's what I like about it. They don't mess around. They're not out there changing pitchers and talking. They're not, scratching and looking and throwing to first base like they do in baseball, which is boring, And I was a baseball player. I love baseball, but I can't watch it when it gets so boring. I think maybe softball is really fun to watch, and this Gator softball team looks like they're the real deal. Like you say, if they win and go to out to the championship, you're taking me and paying my way. So I'm with you.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
Folks, you said you already say it, folks. All right. You said okay.
Well, okay. All right. There we go.
Said it twice. Okay again.
All right, buddy. Be good, my man.
All right. Good to talk to you, Shane. Thank you.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to take our first time out of the program today. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Julie Donaldson of the Washington football team. I have a hard time saying that. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate, with premium brands like Dave & Buster's, Nike, Sushi Hana, Uzzoline Day Spa, and coming June of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're going to be joined by Julie Donaldson, former Gator, who's now the Senior VP of Media and Contact for the Washington football team. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Good morning. It's nice to talk to a fellow Gator. I have to admit, I don't get too many opportunities up here to do that.
No, you don't at all. Well, first of all, let's talk about it. You were actually on the homecoming court here at UF. You graduated in 2000. And then you went to Miami. You've been to Boston, New York City, now with the Washington I wanted to call them the Redskins,
I know, right?
Football team. Did you always want to grow up and be a female broadcaster?
Yeah, I did. I was that little girl that like stared at the television at 5 years old and was like enamored with it. So I want to do that. I did it in high school, and I still to this day get very upset that I did not win most likely to, live this out as my career. Because I am the only person from that class that is still doing this. And I'm, and it's had a relatively successful career with it, working in the markets as you named. But always wanted to be in it. Found a little bit more into sports, bit of a tomboy growing up, just raced the guys. Mom put me, in a dress and I climb a tree. She's like, that's not going to work very well. So we got to find another way to be able to get this girl to burn off some energy. So sports was just the more natural fit.
So let us know, you're the Senior Vice President of Media and Content for the Washington football team.
It takes time to get used to it.
Yeah, but you're also the first female to be a regular on-air member in an NFL radio broadcast booth. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're actually, I don't even know who does the play-by-play and the color for the Washington football team now. It was Sonny Jurgensen, and I got a really funny story about him. Is he still doing it?
No. Sonny's not. That's the whole thing, that it changed over. I'm new to this, and I was able to hire my crew. So I hired Bram Weinstein. He's from the area, grew up going to RFK. So I hired Bram to do the play-by-play. And then I hired D'Angelo Hall to be my analyst. Okay. 10 years here playing for the team. So, but yeah, it's amazing. What I'm doing is not necessarily crazy. I mean, you've heard of 3-man booths before, right? It's just you haven't had a female be there full time. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Sonny, when I was signed with the Redskins, I always wore number 9. And so the equipment guy calls me, wanting my sizes, all this stuff. And I said, okay, I want number 9. He goes, well, you may have to check with Sonny about that. And I go, why? It's not retired. So I called Sonny, and he says, sure, you can wear 9. It'd be great seeing number 9 back on the field. Very next day, I get just blasted in the Washington Post by Sonny because he's mad that the Redskins are going to let me wear number 9 and it's not retired. So I ended up wearing number 6. I turned number 9 upside down. It was kind of pissed me off. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, well, that's typical of the fan base up here. They've got their loyalties and they don't want to share any of that. So
well, that's true, but Sonny had said I could wear it, and then he turns around and says, "No, I don't want you to wear it." So anyway, all right, let's talk about Washington right now. They had a really good year under Ron Rivera, who was another former teammate of mine with the Bears. My rookie year, he was a linebacker with the Bears, so we called him Chico back then. They had a good year, had offensive issues. The Alex Smith story is outstanding, but just talk a little bit about the Redskins, the year that they made, winning a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to tell you twice. You come in, you have change at the head coach for a reason, right? The team was struggling. We only had 3 wins the year before. It was like a downward spiral going through quarterback after quarterback. It seems like ever since I've been here for the last 10 years, it's just been a carousel, not being able to secure that position. And just watching, players that come in with so much promise, not necessarily live up to expectations, coaching staff try to put things together only to see us constantly fall short, not be able to make the adjustments. Ron Rivera comes in. And last year was so unique in and of itself because COVID comes, right? So he's not even getting to meet his players in person, not even getting to meet his staff, walk around the building and say, "Hi, who are you? I'm head coach Ron Rivera," before everything's shut down. Then you have, the social injustice. Then you have the name issues. Then you have the name change, the rebrand. Then he comes through and he deals with cancer for 7 weeks. What he was able to do, even when he made that call, I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks in, that we're going to go for the division. People thought he was crazy. We all thought he was crazy. Publicly, national media, everywhere goes, "What in the world are you thinking?" But he saw an opportunity. He believed in himself. He believed in his guys. The guys that resonated with them, they followed his lead. They stepped up. They played, and yeah, now the expectation set, division or nothing, right?
Yeah, no question. So sticking on the offensive side of the ball, Redskins have not really had an established quarterback for a long, long time. They go out and they sign Ryan Fitzpatrick, who seems like he's played for every team in the league and has played pretty well. He's going to be their starter. Do you see I almost said it again, the Redskins, the Washington football team drafting a young quarterback this year?
Here's the cool thing about the job that I'm in now. If I was a reporter, I'd probably tell you, I'd know exactly what they were doing, or not exactly, but I'd have a pretty good clue. But in this job, I've been able to kind of sit back and be like, okay, when the news comes, when I find out what we're doing, I can then react and go forward with it. They need to. We all know Ryan Fitzpatrick coming in here. I think he was, probably a great option to be able to come in and say, okay, I'm going to bridge the gap until you do find that hopeful franchise QB, which seems impossible to find these days. It's why they don't come around too often. And he's known to be a great mentor, as a quarterback. Every guy, that's ever played with him that I've talked around says that, he's just a great guy in the locker room. He helps make guys become better. He still enjoys it, has fun. So, you get a year or two out of him, you see what you can get. I could see them potentially going for a quarterback. I don't think they're going to make any crazy move to move up to get a quarterback. But I'm not sure. I mean, there's still a lot of different positions and holes we need to fill as well. So,
at Chris Stormy Mortgage, they do mortgage lending, right? Helping home buyers through Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Stormy Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Julie Donaldson from the Washington football team. You can follow her on Twitter at Julie Donaldson _. All right, defensively, obviously Redskin, the Washington football team.
We're going to put a square jar out there for you.
Yeah, they have one of the best defenses in all of the National Football League. The front four is outstanding. Chase Young was their #1 pick last year. How good can he be?
Oh, I mean, even before he came in, everybody's saying this guy's going to the Hall of Fame. And when I ask him, he's like, yeah, I hear it. I hear that noise. He's like, but I haven't done anything yet. And he's the epitome of what they call a dude. I mean, he comes in, he works hard. He's about his business. He's about ball. He makes no excuses. He has one speed at practice. Some of the vets are like, okay, we'll see how that translates as the years start to tack on, because he goes hard and he only knows how to go hard. But the cool thing about him is he came in and he was named captain by the end of the year. I mean, we're sitting there getting ready to call the game. And, there's always one guy in the huddle kind of rallying everyone together. And we look down, I'm like, I think that's Chase. It's Chase right in the middle. The veterans followed him. The rookies followed him. The way he carries himself impresses. I think even Alex Smith said it's like a unique, freakish leadership that he has. And he says it's just where he came and grew up from. So because of that mindset, because of the way that he practices and prepares himself and takes care of his body, He's going to be a force to reckon with for years. We're hoping, this generational player. But the cool thing is it's not just him. You have Montez Sweat, the opposite of him. And Montez Sweat was last year's or the year before that's first round pick taken later than Chase, albeit. But he's really elevated his play. So now you have two guys coming after the quarterback. It's a nightmare, but it's an obviously wonderful thing to have on our defense and guys looking to. I mean, we just brought in William Jackson from the Bengals, and he's like, I'm drooling over being able to get out there on the field with that front four. This defense is looking pretty good. Chase is going to be a great ad.
Yeah. You probably talked to Alex Smith quite a bit, covered him. I mean, his story is outstanding. I know the Redskins, released him. Just talk a little bit about what he went through, what you saw. I just think it's an incredible story that he even had an opportunity to play last year.
Yeah, I was at that game against the Houston Texans, and you saw when he went down. I still get goosebumps. I will remember everything about that moment, him being carted off, and then the stories that went on after that of 17 different surgeries and hearing all this. And he came in within the year after that, so 2 years after, and talked to the media at the end of the season and locker cleanout. And he's like, make no mistake, I'm coming back to play. And we're all like going, but why? Why would you? You're this far along in your career. You don't have to prove anything. You've got your money. No need to do it. And so when you watch this follow back, you watch him during COVID training out in Hawaii, and you're thinking, okay, that's pretty impressive. And then you see that he gets cleared off the PUP list. He makes the active roster. And we're all still going, there's no way in the world anybody's ever going to put him out there, because you don't want to be that guy. Puts Alex Smith out there and he gets crushed again. Nobody wanted to be that guy. Ron Rivera did not want to be that guy. But Alex Smith was saying, I'm good. I need to test it. I want to go. In the booth, calling that moment when he goes out there in the Rams game was just, it was wild. His family was there. Our heartbeats are like totally elevated. And then you watch Aaron Donald jump on his back, and you want to go down there and scream and pull him off and yourself and say, what are you doing? You can't do that to Alex. But as you know, if you're a player, if you're dressed and you're active, you better be able to go. And it was amazing to watch what he did. There's a reason this team won the division. It's because of the way he played. Nobody could have an excuse coming to practice, not wanting to practice, because they're like, man, having an off day. And you watch Alex out there, you go, okay, step it up. Wish him the best. An amazing story. I've asked him, I'm like, are you superhuman? He's like, no, just working his ass off. He's got a heart of gold, and a really great support system. And it's a testament to what you can do when you have that.
We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Melvin Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. John says, I love the Washington football team D-line, one of the best. Chase Young is an absolute freak. How many times has Julie slipped up and said Redskins?
Well, like you are today, probably. So, my second day on the job was when we took the name down. And we made the change, and we were going for Washington football team. So it's like, hello, welcome, day 2. Now do all the media talking about where we're going. While we were practicing, it definitely, like I said, we had a swear jar with D'Angelo Graham and we were practicing off the television. But we learned pretty quickly, you catch yourself, with it. But it's pretty natural to me now. It's just, we say we're Washington football. I don't ever say football team. I do not fall in here to that. We're the burgundy and gold. We're Washington.
Julie, being the first female in an NFL broadcast booth, do you see other franchises following in the Washington's footsteps, having females in there?
I hope so. We've had female calling games, here and there, but they come in for a moment. They come in for a special. They're not there on a regular basis. They're limited to just a sideline job. And this is going to show that you can increase that, and that, you're there. Like, they told me, like, okay, yeah, you're female, but we hired you because you know the team. You're the best one for the job. You've been immersed in this community for 10 years. You know our fan base. You know what they want. And that's why I was hired. And it's a testament that it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you know the game, you know the sport, you know the team, you should have the opportunity to be there. So I certainly hope more clubs fall in line.
So, okay, let's go back to the name. Are we going to have a nickname this year?
This upcoming year, it's going to stay the Washington football team.
Really?
We'll probably have a name somewhere along the lines, but it's going to take time to get the rights, the legalities, to get everything worked out to where we can put it into play. So, and we don't want to do that mid-season. I mean, that's a distraction to the football team, right? To the guys that are out there trying to play the game, to have all that around them. So we'll wait till the end of the year and announce it.
We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Metal Law. It comes from Natasha. And just so you know, Julie, Sarah Thomas, the first female referee in the Super Bowl, she went to my high school, so I've had her on my show. Cool. But Natasha says, my daughter wants to go into sports, and you've done it all, the Olympics, basketball, football, community service. You've had ups and downs, both personally and professionally. So what would you tell my incoming freshman that wants to get into sports?
Stay with it. Don't let somebody else define who you are or what you're supposed to be. I think that's the biggest thing. I could have listened to people say, when those downs come, it's time to change careers. It's time to go into something else. But I was true to what I wanted to accomplish in my life. It's not easy. This is a very competitive business, but I do believe that, you can attain it. And nowadays there's so many more platforms you can be out there. We sacrifice, right? Nights, holidays, weekends, we're working. But I always believe that it's somebody who really wants it. If you're hungry, you're going to get it. So just don't let somebody else define your career path, define who you are as a human being, and stay true to yourself. So when those falls come, you'll be able to get back up and keep going.
That's good stuff. How you still follow the Gators? Do you ever get back to Gainesville?
I haven't in a while. I'm due. It's hard when I've been doing the pre and post and covering games up here on Sundays for quite a few years. So it's almost impossible to get home for a Saturday game, Yeah,
I want to ask you this. So being in the booth last year with no fans in the stands, was that difficult to call games?
I wouldn't know any different because it was my first year calling games
true.
From the booth. But I'll say this, when they always say you guys get in the zone, you get in the zone. When the play's happening on the field, that's all that you're into, in living by every single play and movement of that. But I think the big thing you miss is in between, when you're on a big drive, you miss that momentum, of getting the fans behind you. Or when there's a celebration, you're just, you're there cheering by yourself, and it's just that fake noise pumped in. So it'll be nice to be able to have fans come back. But I do like what's going on with the Gators. It's time to see ourselves coming back, though. So,
yeah,
our defense scared the heck out of me last year, and I guess there's a reason for that. But I like what's going on offensively. And what Mississippi guy taken from you, Fred Smoot, your former teammate, was always a bit mad at that.
Yes. So when the fans come back this year, which we expect, the Redskins are very unique because they have their own little marching band. Are they still going to be able? Are they the Marching Chiefs? I'm trying to remember what they were called.
It's going to change. We've brought in a lot of great people, with Jason Wright being our team president, was named a little bit after they had hired me. And he's brought in, we're reimagining, is the word we use, we're reimagining game day. So we're reimagining the dance team. Tryouts are going to be coming up actually this weekend. We're going to change that, be the first in the NFL to have it look different than it has before. We want to do something with the band, but we're not sure exactly how that's going to look and what it's going to look like. But I think the big thing with this team is there's so much history. You have to be able to carry over some of those traditions into what we're doing tomorrow, but they're just going to not be the exact same. But they're going to be some form of version that everybody can get behind.
All right. Let everybody know you have your own show, I guess, daily, how they can listen to it or watch it.
Well, so we do a daily show. It's called Washington Football Today with Julie Donaldson. During the season, we do 17 shows a week between all of our programming. But we put a lot of it out on the web and on YouTube, so you can go to WashingtonFootball.com and see a good bit of it there. And then also just our YouTube channel, we pump everything out there as well. So.
Well, good stuff. What first round pick did the Washington football team get this year? 19?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can think they're going to go offense or defense?
I think that we might be going a little defense. We need there's like a good linebacker there, or some depth at tackle. We could use a little depth on the O-line. You got to have those big boys up front, right?
No question about it. Julie, appreciate you really taking the time. I know you're a busy woman. Thanks for joining the program, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Go Gators.
Yep. That's Julie Donaldson. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Tuesday edition.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Hot Up with Matthews in the morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to carry it. Center State Bank, we put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida. And understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. Center State Bank, member FDIC. I want to thank good old Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can check his show out Monday through Friday on Facebook Live around 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Also, Julie Donaldson from the Washington football team, former Gator, joined us. She's pretty cool thing what she's doing up there in Washington. Tonight, I'm picking Gonzaga to beat USC, and I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines. The UCLA, I think their magical run comes to an end tonight. So I'm going to have Gonzaga and Michigan moving on to the Final Four. Don't forget to go to potupwithshane.com and put your name in the hopper for a autographed Chomp Carter hat. And we'll pick that winner tomorrow. And on Thursday, we will do our G-Tech COVID-19 Survival Protection Kit. We'll draw that name on Thursday. Tomorrow's show, make sure you tune in. Make sure you tell all your friends to follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Jed Fish, the head football coach of the Arizona Wildcats. His story is amazing, and we're going to talk about it. He was just a volunteer, walked into Coach Spurrier's office back in the early 90s, and that's how he became a football coach. He was just a regular old student here and volunteered. So he's been all over the place. We'll talk to Jed. And then Friday, we're going to have James and Tina Bates on, talking a little Gator swimming. Their daughter, Talia, is an All-American swimmer, and they got another one coming, Georgia. But we're just going to give the Florida women's, I should say, swim team a little love on Friday. And then on Thursday, we got a good show lined up as well as Brent Beard talking college football, what's going on in the world of sports. Hang on, just got a text here. We'll read that one tomorrow. Today's show's a wrap brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there, folks. Make sure you follow us and like us. Tell all your friends about our program. We want to thank our guests for joining us today. Today's show's a wrap brought to you by Wrap Spot. Take care. See you tomorrow.